Have you guys heard the great news? It has been said that you can delete your truck now. And I'm super excited to go find my saw and just go ahead and get the job going. Are you excited, babe? We're gonna get better fuel economy.
Yay!
All right, let me go find my saw. All right, let's see. Last place I put that saw was in here. Where is that saw? Hey babe, do you know where my saw is?
Oh babe.
What?
Before you cut anything off, can you please make sure that it's like legal and okay to do that?
I want to be unburdened by what has been these last 4 years. Can you give me my moment just one time?
Okay.
Maybe she's right. Maybe I should just take a quick peek online before I start cutting. Because after this, it's game on. I've gotten a lot of videos sent to me over the last couple weeks regarding, is it safe to delete your diesel? People have been asking me and I'm like, I have no clue. Now obviously the administration that just left office, those were criminals of what they've done with the EPA, in my humble opinion. And even with the overturning of the Chevron deference, I don't see any updates as of right now. So I'm gonna read an article to you. This was just before inauguration, and they have not updated this yet. But they do have some experts, as they dub it, in here that they've talked to that can give us some news on what's probably to come. So let's go ahead and read it. I'm on the drive.com and they're going to mention two people. I'm not going to read the entire article because, as I said, this article is just before inauguration. So I don't feel the need to bore you with everything in here. But Corey Willis is the founder and president of PPEI Tuning. You've probably heard of him and his company before, at least. And then they're also going to discuss the SEMA Director of Emissions Compliance, Dean Schillingman. Now, they both give you two perspectives. Let's go ahead and jump down here and start reading. Now it says here, Willis's response is resoundingly positive. As he told the person on the phone, he's confident that automotive performance companies will be free from government overreach once Trump is back in office. What's more, he's confident that some of the restrictions imposed on tuners like himself will be rolled back, and given the Supreme Court's overturning of Chevron deference last year, which ruled that the judges can strike down a government agency regulation if they don't believe it's a reasonable interpretation of the underlying law, he could very well be right. So here's what I'll tell you. The Chevron deference was one of the greatest things we ever saw, because if you don't know this, the EPA, the CARB, they were basically interpreting the law the way they saw fit. In other words, they could do whatever the heck they wanted to do. So, for example, Corey Willis here, that is the owner of PPEI Tuning, he got hit with a $3.1 million lawsuit. Now, the way that the EPA worked under the last administration was they can go after American companies, people who are working hard, small businesses now, and just sue them for this emission stuff. Now, again, thank God we now have an administration that's going to be more black and white, because they were literally just making up laws as they went and suing people for it. That's crazy. And that's why I didn't like that last administration. Now, down below here, let's go ahead and, that was the good news. Let's go ahead and talk about the bad news now. Here it is with Schillingman. He says here that he was strongly warned against making rash decisions if you're planning on cutting off your exhaust, okay? Now, he raises an important point. It says here, even if Trump and his choice for EPA boss Lee Zeldin fired half the agency's staff on day one, the regulations would still be in place. And if enforcement is lax during the forthcoming presidential term, whoever takes the Oval Office next could make a hard pivot to punish violators of the Clean Air Act. Hedging your bets against that is unwise, and it isn't the way to flourishing, as Schillingman mentioned during our call that they had. So, in other words, until we know and we have definitive answers on these regulations, so it's not an easy process, in other words, as you just heard. You can't just take out all emissions control. See, I'm not against regulations. See, I think that for some people, they want to help the environment, okay? And I've said this so many times, and I will say it again. I am all for helping the environment. I do a pretty darn good job of not littering. I throw things away. I recycle heavily here. My family does too. But on top of that, there's other things that the government could be looking at to help the environment. I've already told you guys, if you've ever gone to Philadelphia or even San Francisco, Skid Row, those cities are trashy. You can literally make a difference in those cities. And there, that should be where they start. We cannot see the effects of diesel, soot, emissions, whatever you want to call it. We don't see it. I can, however, see litter on the streets. Start there. Starting here just does not make sense in my opinion. And so I understand and I agree with Schillingman. I would not make a rash decision as a company. Now, obviously, guys who go out and do the delete or weight loss program, whatever you want to call it, I think that we would still not be safe. We would not be safe because you have to look at it from the perspective of what this last administration tried to do. I've said this and I know people won't agree with me. This is not about emission stuff. This is all about control. Think about who they're trying to control. Think about who buys diesel trucks. I'm just being honest here. It does not make sense why this is what they're trying to focus in on. There's so many things they can focus on. Airplanes, cruise ships, right? Even the fact of the matter is, and most of you guys talk about this in the comment section, even government vehicles don't have emissions control devices. So the fact is, why can't I use my truck for the purpose I want to use it as, which is off-road, on-road? Why can't I have the same stuff that a military vehicle doesn't have to? Why can't my engine be set up the same way? So not everyone cares to delete their truck. Even when it was legal, most people still didn't go out and delete their truck because they didn't see the value in doing so. So with that being said, let's call the EPA.
Thank you for calling the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Region 8 office located in Denver, Colorado. EPA has 10 regional offices, each serving different geographic areas. The Denver office serves Colorado, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Utah, Wyoming, and 28 tribal nations. If your concern does not involve the Region 8 states or tribes, contact information for other regional offices can be found by going to your internet browser and searching U.S. EPA regional offices. Many environmental concerns are handled by state or local environmental or health departments, so you may want to call them first for assistance. Para español, presione dos. If you're calling to report an environmental emergency such as a spill or chemical release, press 1. If you're calling about an environmental concern within Region 8, leave a voice message, or for a quicker response. If you're reporting an emergency, call the National Response Center at 800-424-8802. Do not leave a message on this system. Again, that is 800.
Okay, so unfortunately, that was the third number I called. You cannot get in contact with someone. So I have another contact here we're going to call real quickly. It was given to me by someone who is real tight with the left. Let's go ahead and make a quick call.
Who's calling the EPA? No one ever calls here. Hi, this is the EPA.
Hey sir, how are you?
It's a ma'am.
Anyways, I wanted to see if you guys heard any news on deleting diesel trucks.
Are you serious? That is horrible for the environment.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
No, but it's bad. And I don't like to hear loud trucks.
Gotcha. Well, how is the EPA combating the dirty blue cities around the country?
You know what? This call is over. You must be some kind of bigot who voted for MAGA. Goodbye.
The heck was that? Oh well. They were right about one thing.